G'day everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. So I'm just fresh off streaming one of the best grand finals in the 21st century. An absolute ripper we did witness. The Pies getting the monkey off the back. Grand final losses left, right and centre. Had that heartbreaking one in 2018, but they got it done over the lines by 4 points to take home flag number 16 for the 2023 AFL season. Thought I'd make this video fresh off the game, you know, just to give my thoughts and the 2 cents on the game. Because right off the bat, I thought it was just one of the most quality grand finals we've seen in some time. I think as neutrals, we were due for a close grand final. 2 of the top teams going at it each year, and it was a really end-to-end game with some great moments from both sides. The goals were quality, but yeah, just the Pies' relentlessness and just their, you know, physical application at the footy and their fans and the mental upside they have. They got it done. So right off the bat, congrats to Collingwood, the best team all year. I had them for the flag at the start of the finals predictions, so I guess I got that right, which is great. But yeah, you know, they've had the best fans all year. They've been, yeah, just a terrific side to watch. What Craig McRae's been able to do, come in 2022, have a brilliant first year, go down by a point in that prelim final, to come out this year and just to assert their dominance in the competition, be the benchmark on the comp with how they move the footy. You know, just a fantastic grand final, deserving winners. Any fans, obviously, hopefully you lot soak it up. But yeah, as a neutral, I just want to give my 2 thoughts and chew the fat about a bit on the game. So if you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. That'll be much appreciated. And let's get into it. Okay, so with this video, it's probably going to be a similar style to how I'll do the good, bad and ugly sort of series. But yeah, just to chew the fat about this game, it was inevitable. I was always going to talk about the grand final after, because I felt off the bat this would have been a close game. And it really was. It really was. This was a game where, look, I feel like, to be honest, when you look at the scoring shots, 12 goals 18 to 13 goals 8, it's a game where really Collingwood could have won by more, but it just felt like with the efficiency of Brisbane and how they were able to kick their goals from stoppage and end-to-end ball movement, it was deserving that they were able to keep this margin close. They just never let in, and obviously just quickly to the Brisbane Lions, I mean, their grand final performance, I thought, was very good. They just had a lot of those 50-50 moments where they didn't get the better of, and just those, you know, the grand finals are built off moments, and they just failed to capitalise on a few. Joe Danaher missing it. Jared Berry had the brain fade and all that whatnot, but their ability to keep in the game with some great quality goals. They got some important goals off stoppage. They had a little bit of momentum throughout times of the game, but just to keep within the hunt, I felt was really good, and credit to them. They had a fantastic year, so nothing but respect to the Lions of the losers. Going down by 4 was a great game from them. We saw quality plays across the field from their system. A few disappointing plays, of course, but overall I thought, in a way, they were good enough to definitely win the game. They only went down by 4 points, but I just felt with this game in general, Collingwood were just slightly the better side on being able to control the game. Now I think they were a wee bit better on being able to move the ball from end to end. When the Lions had their share of momentum, Collingwood would just instantly flick of a switch, kick a goal back to wrestle it back a little bit. So yeah, Brisbane were good enough to win the game of footy, but Collingwood, I just felt they set up pretty well behind the ball, and in the end they won the territory game. That's always the most important thing. 52 inside 50s to 41. And especially in and under, it was one of the best games I watched. It was just so even with both teams going on. The contest possessions, it was a game, seesawing battle, 113 contest possessions each. Lions did win the clearances in the end by 6. I felt from stoppage they were a little bit more effective. They were able to get a few goals from that. The first quarter was absolutely electric. Both teams off to really flying starts. And, you know, when the Pies kicked the first 2 goals, it was something that I've said all along a lot of the times, especially in the build-up to this game. Collingwood start games, especially finals at home, so well. So the onus I felt was on Brisbane to try and, you know, break even or try and keep them at bay in terms of, or resist, or try and, you know, what's the word? You know, weather the storm of that Collingwood early wave. And I felt that first 2 goals, like, oh, here we go. Pies could be off to a fly here. Bobby Hill, Nick Dacos with that goal in front of the, you know, from that high tackle on Bobby Hill with a beauty. But Zach Bailey's first turn was an absolute ripper. He kicked that great goal on the run, and then Lincoln McCarthy was able to get on the end of another one from 15. Yeah, that Bailey smother. The second effort was a beauty. They were able to, you know, he was able to dance past a few opponents, snap around the corner, kick a great goal for 2. And then, yeah, the Pies were able to respond back through a goal with 𝐼𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐿𝐿, and a late one to 𝐷𝐿𝐿. And this was where it really hurt Brisbane in retrospect. They conceded too many red time goals. 2 goals after the siren, quarter 1 and quarter 2 really did hurt them. But yeah, this was a really back and forth first half of football. basically, lead changes were really even. Both teams had their fair share of momentum. I felt Brisbane, as I said, were able to really capitalise on their opportunities a lot better, and their forward half pressure is really good. And when they were building, Brisbane are a very good side, and when they're able to build, they're able to really flex their muscle. And I think around the footy, they're able to get first possession a lot more in that first half. Their forward pressure is really good, and they didn't take a single mark inside 50 for the whole first half, and they're able to kick a total of 9 goals. Pretty good. It's just Brisbane, as I've always said, a very good side of being able to move it off turnover and, efficiency from the clearance game and everything, and they were getting goals at the back. But yeah, it really was a seesaw battle. Charlie Cameron on the board with that left foot snap. 𝐓𝐶 𝐿𝐼𝐻, I thought his game was very, very impressive. And then yeah, Bobby Hill, I thought his goals up to halftime were just very, very good. He was one of Collins' best players in their forward half. Charlie Cameron again responding with another, and yeah, 2 critical goals in a row for Brisbane. Joe Danaher on the end of one. Of course, Lincoln McCarthy kicking in the second, and this is where Bobby Hill did go bang with some great quality goals, and I think that's the main story of this whole game. The quality of goals was sensational, especially probably from Brisbane's side of things. There were some great kicks, some great snaps. And then, yeah, again, it felt like it could have been all square heading into half-time. The Pies through. Jack Crisp was able to kick another and make them hit the lead heading into half-time. And, yeah, I was just exhausted from watching that first half of football. The intensity was great, really even around the contested game. Felt like they were a little bit shaky early on, Brisbane, with a few of their fumbles, but they settled really well. And I felt the mature heads like Neil and Dunkley really wore as the game went on. In terms of the first half, I think 𝐤𝐶𝐞 𝐎𝐿𝐼𝐻 had something like 22 touches. His game was brilliant. He was just controlling everything from half back. I feel like 𝐤𝐶𝐞 𝐎𝐿𝐼𝐻's always one of those players we were expecting to really go off this year, but Albert's final series very good, so let's hope he can stay injury-free next year. His half was really good. But yeah, they weren't really getting many possessions in the midfield, I felt, really either side. It was just, the game built off moments and everything, and there wasn't really too much congestion or anything. Ball was able to freely get out. It really just was an end-to-end first half of footy, and a really enjoyable one. And yes, that third term we're on, well, I feel like the Pies were slightly a bit of the better side. This is when we started to see Brisbane were starting to chase their tail a little bit. I felt like Collingwood was still around that 2 to 3 goal better side, but just credit to them. They had a few points as well. Collingwood had a few gettable chances. Crisp kicking another beauty. And then, of course, McCluggage responding back with one, followed by another answered goal. To Devon Robinson, a nice goal from end to end. He was able to get on the end of one. And then, yeah, Scotty Pendlebury again through Bobby Hill. They were very good, I think, throughout that third term. The Collingwood just being able to get those quick goals with transition out the back. What they're very good at. And they're able to do that. Pendlebury obviously slotting that class goal with that great... So a great goal assist from Bobby Hill, and he was able to kick truly. Well, the stage was set for an epic fourth quarter. Lincoln McCarthy could have put the Lions back in front, but missed with his set shot. But yeah, this was a fourth quarter for the ages. We felt this one could go really down to the wire. And it really sure was. Some early misses, of course, with Dacos and Bobby Hill, and another rush behind. Looked like the door was slightly ajar. It did get out to over a goal. Joe Danaher had the chance directly in front. Really should have got it. Brisbane were just able to really hang in there with just being able to move the ball freely. This is where they're able to get a lot more, I felt like really in the second half, most of the ball was just locked in Collingwood's forward half, especially the fourth quarter. But just Brisbane, with just the limited opportunities they had, were just able to get it in efficiently in their forward 50. And yeah, Joe Danaher really should have kicked that goal. 𝐤𝐶𝐞 𝐎𝐿𝐼𝐻 had the chance from 60 out. He's narrowly missed. And yeah, Hipwood had a chance from, I think, around 60 out too, but then missed. So yeah, it felt like the Lions were coming, and it felt like, this was entering crunch time. The next goal will win the game, obviously. And out of nothing, just through that congestion, they were get the ball forward. Charlie Cameron electric. It reminded me of Kieran Juck's goal from 2012. Just that bobbling ball to the boundary. Who can keep their feet? I forgot who the defender was from Hawthorn, but Kieran Juck was able to keep his feet. He kicked the goal. That 1-on-1 with Maynard could have been the deciding moment. Maynard went to ground. Never want to do that as a defender. Charlie Cameron put them in front, adding another crazy angle to this game. But just with Collingwood's fashion, whenever they look like they're down and out, they just respond so well. And just in a blink of an eye, centre clearance, whack it forward to 𝐿𝐼𝐻 from 55 out. Now, I was watching on 7+. The quality was 540p at 30 FPS. I couldn't really see the ball much, but he just knew from that moment he was going to kick the goal. And he just put it right through the middle. It was a fantastic moment. Great game from the 𝐿𝐼𝐻. He was a goal kicker. This is the games he was built off, and it was a terrific goal. And this is where it cost the Lions in the end, really. A brain fade from Jared Berry, who I felt was a little bit quiet this afternoon. Bumped into side bottom late, 50-metre penalty, and side bottom converted truly. And that sort of brings me on to the topic again of the goals, like there were so many goals from outside 50. I felt like the kicking for goals was pretty quality. Sidewinder pretty much won them the game. It felt like it was too little too late. But then again, the Lions were able to get another goal from some quick end-to-end transition. Charlie Cameron again was dangerous, centering ball, find Big Joe. His game was pretty serviceable. I felt 3 goals. And then, yeah, the controversy began. Now, obviously, we all know Neil got, I think it was below the knees or something. It was a free to Neil, and apparently advantage was paid. And it really shouldn't have been advantaged away, but they did take their unfortunate advantage. Didn't result in anything good. But I'll be honest, I didn't even realise the advantage call, because I was that invested in the game. I didn't hear it, so maybe the Brisbane Lions players didn't hear it. So that's obviously all the controversy galore, but I'll just leave that to, people to debate about. I just like to talk about the quality of the football. They had the chances, the Lions. They won that centre clearance after that goal from Danaher. They were knocking on the door, but I just had that confidence in Collingwood because they're such a well-drilled side. They finish games so well. When they've led it three-quarter time, they've never lost this year. And they're able to get it done. Mitchell was able to win that high tackle free, wind down the clock. They were very composed, I felt, when the game, probably around under 6 minutes to play, when Collingwood were leading by over that goal. They were just really smart decision-making with them moving it. They didn't really bomb it to pack, so just trying to find uncontested marks. I think they're one of the best teams in the competition in fourth quarters, Collingwood. They were able to do it on the biggest day, finish off the game well, and the crowd was alive, obviously, when the siren went. And just one of the best grand finals, I think, in 21st century. We were blessed to witness an absolute cracker, the Pies by 4 points. Just an absolute ripper. But yeah, just a game built off moments I felt as the game wore on. You had to win a lot more of those 50-50s. Just so even in the contest, you just didn't know who was going to get that advantage, forward, who was going to get that little kick forward, who was going to gain momentum. But it just felt like, in retrospect, yes, the Lions were able to show a bit of momentum, but it was only really, I still felt they were mostly chasing the Pies' tail for the most of it. But hey, I felt in the first half, Brisbane's ball movement was much better than Collingwood's. Collingwood were just bombing it down the line. Brisbane were cutting the angles, changing the game, and were kicking some great goals off it. So, I have utmost respect for Brisbane. Their grand final performance, as I say again, just elite, hanging in there really well. But yeah, just Collingwood, with those moments, they always capitalise off them, win those 50-50s, get them forward, get the cast balls forward, and in that third and fourth quarter, they're able to make the most of, some nice movement, quickly off turnover and off the intercepts and everything, and they win by 4 points. So, yeah, a cracking game, really could have gone either way, but it was a deserving win of Collingwood. I felt the slightly better team, able to control it for longer, but yeah, we'll quickly go over now, one by one, I think, of play stats and what I thought about them. So, 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐎𝐥𝐿, 26 touches for him. I thought his game was magnificent, as I did say again, controlled the game really well from half back, had also 8 marks, 6 tackles, really special game. I thought going by footy was great, 761 metres gained, that is he won the metres gained count by a landslide. Tom Mitchell, I felt really Collingwood's midfield started to really grow as the second half wore on. They had a lot of low possession getters. I think Crisp had something like 9 touches at half time, and Mitchell was low too, but they just were able to start to win a lot more footy in and under. I felt the Lions were a little bit better on getting first possession in and around the footy from probably around that second quarter to early in the third, but Collingwood were able to get on top a little bit in and around the footy, especially in the contested game. 13 tackles for him too, 7 clearances, liked his game. Bobby Hill, the Norm Smith medalist, he was alive in the second and especially third quarter, in both those quarters. He's just kicking some great goals, slotted home some great set shots, and he was just deadly. So deadly. Starcevic's game was disappointing on him. He couldn't apply the clamps, and he was just roaming everywhere. A dangerous player in the former Giant. Hey, what acquisition for Collingwood this year, the Norm Smith medal winner. Nick Dacos, thought his game was fantastic. Obviously, the controversial early goal, all that whatnot, but that was huge. Kicking that first one for the Pies, the absolute superstar. 29 touches for him. Yeah, really liked his game. This is just how he plays so well. He just racks up the football, but always smart with it. Was just so clean reading it from the tap, and I think the special thing with him is he just shows great awareness, and he's just so reactive around the footy. He's quick, he's hard to tackle. Loved his game, and I love the moments after the siren. Him and tears and everything. He's a deserving premiership winner. He's an absolute star. Great moments after the siren with his dad, especially Josh too. So great stuff there. Jack Crisp, I had him for the Norm Smith medal. He ended up having a great game. He kicked 2 goals, important goals he kicked as well. He could have kicked that one on the run as well to really bring the house down, so he could have had 3 goals. And hey, I thought he would have been closer than the Norm Smith medal counting. Really impressive game. Always consistent finals. Game was great. Pendlebury, I loved his composure. He had that moment in the fourth quarter it was, where he lowered the eyes to someone, but it wasn't 15. Just that moment on that forward pocket, the further side on the City end. Oh, how about that? That was a great moment. He was just able to show his awareness and composure. But yeah, really built as the game went on. I think he was on like 10 touches at half time. So yeah, no, I think collectively as a midfield, Collingwood really lifted. Kicked the goal to 6 clearances for him. Great game. Jeremy Howe was racking up the marks. I thought he was pretty influential in their back six. Still side bottom, a really impressive game. Kicked the sealer, of course. Pretty much the winner in a way because Brisbane responded back with that. But 20 touches for him. Loved this game. 𝐓𝐴 𝐿𝐼𝐿, I think he's had a very underrated year. Played a little bit more on the outside, but he played a bit on the inside, of course, today as well. Kicked 2 goals, 21 touches. Was good with it. And I really liked his second quarter. He was able to have some nice options in the corridor. They moved the ball. He moved the ball well. Then, yeah, Joe Daniher, 3 goals. I think his game was good. You couldn't really ask much more from Joe. Probably could have kicked that goal, really, to make it 4 goals straight. But a disappointing player was definitely 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿. I felt he was really nullified and had the shot early on. He shanked it. Had that other miss too. He was really quiet. But I still have to say, in a losing grand final, I think there was a lot of players that held up their heads high from the Brisbane perspective. I mean, Josh Dunkley was another one. 21 touches. Tough in and around the midfield. He was matching up, of course, on De Goey and... Oh, you know, he was just tackling in there. He's winning some hard balls. He was just doing what he does best, and I thought his game was pretty serviceable, able to get a bit of first possession hero there. Dane Zorko, 17 touches, but his game was a bit hit and miss. He had a few okay moments, but his disposal was really poor. Had a few out in the fulls. He had that opportunity from the 𝐼𝐶𝐞 𝐎𝐿𝐼𝐿 on full, but just a terrible centering kick. He made the worst of that. Lachie Neale, only 21 touches for him, but I felt his game was still really good. Again, such a clean play in the stoppage. He was able to show a bit of composure too. Jordan De Goey, talked about him earlier, paid the big bucks for these big games. Was massive, 2 goals for him. Darcy Cameron, 12 touches. Quiet, I felt a little bit. He competed well on the ruck with Oscar McInerney, but I felt the Big O was the clear best ruckman on the ground. But he took some important marks in the fourth quarter, Cameron, which he's known for. So credit to him. Harris Andrews, he only had under 5 intercept possessions at halftime. I felt he was pretty quiet. Frampton was playing a well enough role in him. His fourth quarter, though, really lifted. And so did 𝘼𝐶𝐼𝐿 at that great one-on-one mark as well. So I felt as a back six, they did sort of lift, especially Andrews, and they were able to rebound a bit better in that fourth quarter. Oscar McInerney, probably an unsung hero from the Brisbane Lions outfit. I thought his game was really good. 10 clearances. You know, this is what he's able to do. He had so many times throughout the game grabbing first possession out of the ruck, getting the clearance. I really liked his game. Ryan Lester, I thought, again, his game was really nice, rotating on a few small forwards throughout the game. I thought he was pretty serviceable, and he had some nice one-on-one moments. Credit to Lester. I thought he's coming in the side this year. He's had a brilliant year. Jamie Elliott, a bit of a quiet game. I thought we were due for maybe an Elliott classic, potentially towards the end, but only 0 goals, 1. I felt he was well nullified in defence a wee bit. Zach Bailey, 2 goals. A tale of 2 halves, really. First half, first quarter, brilliant. Absolutely loved it. He was electric. He was just... What he did in the first quarter took the words out of my mouth. I said in that preview game, Zach Bailey is your... They need to have winners at half forward, Brisbane. I think to kickstart it, Zach Bailey is your guy. He's the guy that can grab it out of the stoppage. He can read it best from a tap, kick goals from 45, and that's exactly what he did in the first quarter. But after half time, faded out a bit. They started to lack a bit of those half forward winners and had to really rely on goals from end-to-end movement. That's why they got most of them. But yeah, you know, I felt... Yeah, after halftime, did fade out a bit. 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿 competed well in the air. It was always going to be hard with no McStay because he's a very good mark inside 50. But hey, he was able to kick a goal. Isaac Quaynor, yeah, he was okay. Took a few nice intercept marks. But yeah, they didn't really rebound as much as they would have liked to, Collingwood. I felt they... You know, I was probably expecting them to probably rebound a little bit more. But yeah, I think the Lions' forward half pressure was pretty good, but Quaynor's game was still pretty good. Hoskin Elliott played his role well in defence and a little bit on the wing, took some nice marks. 𝘼𝐶𝐼𝐿, well, apart from that great one-on-one mark against Bobby Hill, I thought he was pretty disappointing. One of the Lions' worst plays. He was just... Yeah, he was well beaten. It felt he was nowhere near Bobby Hill at times. He failed to get the clamps on him, so his game was a bit disappointing. But apart from that one-on-one mark, yeah, not really too great. Mason Cox, Well, he kicked 0 goals too, so he had an opportunity to kick a few. But yeah, he had a few fumbles and all that whatnot. But he could have had a bit of a better game. But it doesn't matter. They've won the flag, of course. Brandon Maynard competed well in their back half, of course, like he always did. 𝐓𝐴𝐻𝐿, I thought his game was actually quite okay. He's not been too great, obviously, the past few weeks for the Pies, but he came on as a sub early on for Murphy, unfortunately. Hopefully he's okay with that concussion. But yeah, he competed well. 16, he was in and around the footy, winning a few hard balls, so credit to him. 𝐼𝐗𝐼𝐻𝐪, only the 12 touches, but he doesn't need much. I thought his run and dash was good. He just did his role, and credit to him. 𝐷arcy Wilmot, a bit of a quiet game for the second-year player, had a few touches, but yeah, these are just sort of your role players you don't expect much from. McKenna, I felt like he'd probably be a bit disappointed in his game. Didn't really get much impact from half back where they would have allowed a bit more, but it was just Kitty Coleman doing all the work. Hipwood again was disappointing. Josh Dacos, bit of a quiet final series. I loved his season, but was just unable. Maybe he's just as that winger was just unable to really produce those high numbers, but still had some good moments in transition. Beau McCreary, I loved his game in terms of competing like he always does, but geez, he had a few hacky moments. 0 goals, 3 kicked, and he kicked a few. He missed hand past a few. He fumbled a bit when they got goal side, but hey, that's McCreary for you. He's a bit of a player that lacks polish, but he always gives effort, so credit to him. He's a premiership player, of course. Devon Robinson competed okay. Got a few centre bounces, kicked the goal out the back, but will he be out of the Lions camp at the end of the year? That's going to be the question. Gardner, I thought his game was okay. Berry, disappointing, only 11 touches. He always plays a bit of a nullifying role anyway, but could have asked a bit more from him. Lincoln McCarthy kicked the 2 goals early on in the first half, and he had that nice goal where he had the one where he peeled off, he played on, kicked it to Joe, then he kicked the point in that 4th term. So, yeah, I think he was still okay. He had a few good moments. Charlie Cameron, he was a bit up and down. He still kicked 3 goals, but throughout games he was a bit quiet. But that's how small forwards are. He only had 7 touches, but he put the Lions in front where it looked like they could have won the game. So it was a credit, to him. I thought his game was still good. Cam Rayner, probably one of the most disappointing plays for the Lions. He just couldn't get a good go at it, really. It was weird. He was playing a little bit at half back, sometimes sweeping from the back, and he was able to get a few quick hand passes forward, but showed no X factor, I felt, throughout this game forward to centre, which they needed him to be, but didn't show it. But yeah, that's the thing with the Lions. The winners at half forward, their X factor plays just seem to fade out a little bit, like Bailey and Cameron. Throughout most parts of the game really did fade out a little bit, especially Rayner too. So that's probably an area where it did lack the Lions in terms of scoring, but they just relied on that end-to-end movement. That's where they got a lot of their goals from, and off turnover too. But yeah, anyways, moving on. Jack Ginnivan, 0 goals, 1. I still felt he would have been a bit better as a sub, but he soaked it up. He felt a bit quiet, only 7 touches, but a small forward. Jasper Fletcher had a few okay moments. He's only a first-year player, so he gained plenty of experience from this, of course. And Archie subbed out, disappointing game from him. Moore only had 7 touches, and Nathan Murphy obviously went off, which you hate to see. Lions, of course, as the sub, only 4 touches. Probably could have come on a little bit earlier. And Frampton, he's a premiership player, he doesn't care. But yeah, I think he probably would have stayed forward if Murphy didn't go down. If he just didn't, probably obviously wanted Collingwood's worse, but yeah, he dropped that mark inside 52. But it doesn't matter. The Pies win the flag. That's the main thing. But yeah, there's my view on all the plays, lads. But then, as I say again, to finish off this video, a cracking grand final it was. Just absolutely, really, really privileged to watch a great grand final between 2 of the top teams in the competition. As I say again, in retrospect, it just felt like Collingwood are a bit more of the better side, being able to control the footy better, and in and under winning some more important moments and more of those 50-50s. They were able to, I think, penetrate the Lions back 6 quite well. They nullified Andrews for the most part of the game. The Lions sort of lost out of touch of their winners at half forward, but they still kept on peppering through those goals from stoppages, and a lot of those goals as well through just end-to-end movement. So it was a free-flowing game. It was a great game in the end, and the Pies just those moments, the crowd on their side, the mental toughness. They've just been through all these games. They've been the kings of when they look down and out, they just flick the switch, they wrestle momentum back their way. And yeah, another close win. It's fitting. Congratulations to Collingwood, the 2023 premiers. And yeah, that was just my 2 cents on the game. Yeah, really end to end. It was a great grand final. Of course, again, all the talk will be about the umpires, but I felt it was just a good quality game, especially with ball skills. I thought it was really clean today. The fumbles, yes, early on with the early jitters, but it really grew as the game went on. So congrats to Collingwood. Any Pie supporters, obviously watching this video, happy for your mob. Soak it up. A great win. Obviously, do feel for the Lions mob out there. A sad way to end their season, but you feel like they will be back. A massive credit to them. I thought their grand final performance was great, but the Pies deserving winners. The best team all year. Fellas, that's it. for this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did go on to enjoy. There's my 2 cents on the game. A ripper it was. But apart from that, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did go on to enjoy. As I do say again, feel free to stay tuned on the channel. Got plenty of off-season content coming out. But yeah, what a win for the Pies. They get it done for 2023. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And yeah, we'll talk to you later. See you later, fellas.